it was all
Totally fine.
closed and cancelled and everything while we were here.
Yeah,
So
no worries. All right, we're live. Look at that. All right. So hey everybody, this is Andrea Benton. And missing in action tonight is Alvaro de Almeida. He is unfortunately not able to make it at the moment. He may jump in, he may not. We'll have to see. But his presence is definitely missed tonight. So we have actually, Alvaro and I have taken a bit of a 3-week hiatus. Just while we sort of focus on some other things, but we are very lucky tonight to have Damon Shaw. He is coming to us from Malaysia, and we're going to talk about everything futsal. So that's what we're going to talk about. But before we do, as per usual, I have to do the Zingo TV intro. So here it is. Hey, this is Andrea Benton, and Alvaro de Almeida, as I previously mentioned, is MIA, but hopefully he'll join us soon. He is from Born to Play. We are from Born to Play Futsal, the TV show, and welcome to Spanglish Sports World Network on Zingo TV, channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app from the app stores for iOS and Android devices. After you download the app, we would love it if you rated the app and left a comment. The app is free. Zingo TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and all smart TVs made from 2016 onwards. This is not a paid sponsorship, but we did just want to give a big shout out to Joma. Joma is a long-term supporter of futsal around the world, and just thank you very much to Joma for consistently supporting the amazing sport of futsal. So without further ado, we are going to go right into it. As I mentioned from the top, we have Damon Shaw today. This is actually, I guess, a special Easter edition of Born to Play Futsal, since it's Easter. Pretty much, I think, all around the world. I'm hoping I'm getting that right. So anyways, and yeah, we've got Damon Shaw. So before we start, we always open up with an icebreaker question. And the icebreaker question is today, are you going to hide Easter chocolate for your kids? Do you have one or two? I can't remember.
I don't have kids.
I thought you had kids last time we spoke. Wasn't there some chirping at like kitties in the background?
Cats, maybe.
Oh, maybe the cats were screaming. All right. So you celebrating Easter, yes or no?
No, not really. In Malaysia, it's not a big thing.
Okay.
It's mostly a Muslim country, and yeah, there will be places where they celebrate Easter, and I guess in some of the malls, they're going to have these Easter displays and stuff like they did at Christmas. But no, it's not. It's not a holiday here.
Okay.
I don't think so. So no, I'm not celebrating Easter.
Right,
I don't particularly celebrate it anyway when I was in Europe.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's a nice long weekend, and a couple of times, yeah, if I'm home in the UK with family, then we'll have Easter eggs on Easter Sunday or go out for dinner or something as a family. But no, it's not. So sorry,
all right.
I don't think we broke the ice there.
No, I don't think we did either, but that's fine. So I will answer the question though. So yes, my kids and I we don't actually celebrate Easter, but it wouldn't be, we take advantage of the Easter chocolate. So I will be hiding multiple Easter eggs tomorrow morning around my house, and they'll do the Easter egg hunt, and they will fight over who gets the most chocolate. So that's what we will do. So
I've seen something online. I think Cadbury's are running a online Easter egg hunt.
Oh.
So I saw Gary Neville. He posted it on his Instagram story. So
that's cool.
I think that'll be quite fun to do. It's actually Sunday morning here now, so it is Easter Sunday already.
Yes, actually, and that's a very important point, because the time difference is what you are. I feel like it's 7 o'clock my time right now, and it's 10 o'clock your time. So you're like 13 hours, 14 hours ahead of us. 15
hours. Yeah, because in 3 hours it's 10 p.m. for you. And that's 12 hours.
Yeah. So the time zone is interesting. All right. So enough with the chit chat. I think we got through the icebreaker. So my question is, what is your background and how did you get involved in futsal?
Okay. Yeah. So I'm an English futsal coach. I've been coaching now since I was 21. So that's 16 years. And yeah, I discovered the sport at university and set up a club at the uni. And yeah, there weren't many people involved in the sport in the UK at that time. There was a few pockets, but that meant I had to be the coach, I had to be chairman, I had to be secretary, I had to be fundraiser. so when I set up the club, you have to do everything. And I actually really enjoyed the coaching. I even tried playing, but I wasn't that good.
Okay.
I got straight into coaching within the first, as soon as I found the sport, because there just weren't many people to do the coaching. So yeah, I had to do it. So I started my coaching journey at 21. I set up the University of Teesside Futsal Club there.
Oh wow.
And that grew quite big. We were one of the leading universities at the time. We won the championship 3 times and played in Europe a couple of times. And yeah, from that I got this futsal bug, and I fell in love with the sport and saw this huge world of futsal beyond England. So yeah, then I was about 8 years in England, 8 or 9 years before I decided to move to Spain, where it was always an ambition of mine to go to one of the top countries to learn, because in England we're behind. We're still behind a lot of countries. It's growing, but still the coach education at that time was almost non-existent. And it was always my plan, my ambition to go to one of the top leagues in the world and study and have a new life experience as well. So I moved to Spain in 2013, where I got involved coaching under 18s there, and then I moved to under 14s in one of the LNFS teams. But while I was there, the most important thing for me was doing the UEFA B and UEFA A license.
Oh wow.
Just to clarify, it's the UEFA A it's only an equivalent. So in Spain they have the level 1, level 2. The level 2 is equivalent to UEFA A, but the UEFA A doesn't actually exist in UEFA yet, but I'm sure it'll come in the future, and it will be UEFA A. I want to go back and do the UEFA Pro.
Okay.
But, so I'm an English futsal coach. Did my training in Spain, and since being in Spain, I worked in England, then Malta, and now Malaysia. So it took me about 12 years before I got a full-time professional job in futsal. But yeah, since the start, I decided I wanted to be a coach, and I thought, right, I'm going to go all in, and I did. I even failed my degree. Not failed. I just did finish the second year, and then decided I'm just going to concentrate on futsal. So I just changed my mind on what I wanted to do, and a lot of people said, "Don't be stupid, finish your degree, get a real job, all that sort of stuff." But no, I decided I had a passion, and I thought I'm going to go all in for it.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, so what was one of the highlights for you while you were in Spain? Because you must have a ton, or at least a top 5.
No, my highlight was playing the LNF, the Copa de España final with my under 14s team. Wow. So that whole year, it was my last year in Spain, so 2015-16. I was an assistant coach with Industria Santa Coloma under 14s. It's a professional academy. It's the players were elite. We were expected to be one of the top teams in Catalonia. And we had an amazing season. We only fell short to Barca.
Wow.
We were the second team to FC Barca, because they had all the best players that they can. Barcelona's development center is the whole of Spain, so they take the best players, and we fell short to them. I mean, we fell short. We lost 6-3 in one of the games. I think it was quite close. But yeah, the Spanish Cup final. So we qualified for that because our senior team were top 8 in the LNFS. Wow. So what happens there? The teams that qualify for the Copa de España, which was a couple of weeks ago, if you might have seen it all over the internet. Also, their under 14s teams go along and play the mini Copa. So we were one of the 8 teams, and the highlight there was playing that final against Barcelona live on TV in front of quite a lot of fans. And I think for the boys as well, it was such a good moment for them, and they were so devastated when they lost. There was tears, and like little 13-year-old boys, they've played their hearts out, And obviously Barca had the better players. They were a better team. We were close until the end, and then Barcelona just turned it on like they can. Yeah, I think that was my highlight of being in Spain, certainly.
Wow. So can I ask, how did you handle the pressure against Barca? Because that's a huge amount of pressure now. I mean, you know what you're going up against.
Yeah, and to be fair, the boys were all quite close with the players at Barca. We were in the same city, so we played them 3 times that year. The pressure, to be honest, we had a sports psychologist with us. And he did a really good job in preparing the boys mentally, and and us as coaches, I think we prepared the boys tactically. We obviously fell short, but no, I don't know. I think the pressure didn't. I didn't see the pressure affecting them too much.
Okay,
maybe.
Good.
And at the end, yeah, they were devastated. They were breaking down a little bit, and it was heartbreaking to see them and having to comfort them. And but no, I think they handled it quite well. They were a really good group, a really strong group, because we did have that sports psychologist throughout the whole season. So that was a really big help. And no, I think the boys were used to it, and they were familiar with the players. So it was a good positive experience.
It was a good positive experience. Yeah, that's good. Okay, and then so I didn't know this. You mentioned Malta. What did you do in Malta?
Malta, it's a small country in Europe. Very small. And yeah, after my time in England, so I left Tranmere after a couple of years. They had a restructuring. My job got made redundant. Which is a shame when football people make futsal decisions. These things happen. And then I got a call straight away from a team in Malta, and they asked me to go over there and help build something with their futsal team. And initially, I went over as technical director and assistant coach, and then after 6 months, I became the head coach.
Oh.
And yeah, it was a really nice experience as well. That first season, I think we were the 3rd best team in Malta. There were 2 teams above us that were professional. We were semi-professional. We had a few pro players, but that first season in Malta, we had a really good team, and we came close to one of the top teams in a couple of games. But yeah, the budget difference was huge. It would have taken a lot of time to close the gap. In terms of building up your own academy and your own players. But yeah, Malta was really good. Really nice experience. Working in a not quite professional, but it was a club that wanted to be professional, and we had a few pro players. I had a couple of international players as well that I was working with, a couple of Europeans, and for me, it was the first time working in that environment where we were training. I think 4 or 5 times a week we were training. The boys worked. The local boys had jobs, but we trained almost as professionals. And in England, I didn't have that. We trained twice a week in England. So when I went to Malta, it was a nice step up to be training 4 or 5 times a week. So as a coach, same with as a player, to develop, you need to train more, right? So as a coach, we need to deliver more training sessions. And yeah, that was a really nice experience as well in Malta. Unfortunately, the second season didn't go too well. The club had a few money issues in the summer, and we lost a few players. So when I went back, it was an uphill task, and there was only 4 teams in the league that season. I think it was quite a low point for Maltese futsal. There was probably a lack of support, a lack of interest, and the top league got down to 4 teams. So it was, and we lost a few players to the other team. So it was always going to be tough.
Yeah.
I'm happy with the work I did. I wish we'd have won more games, and I could have stayed a bit longer to finish the job. But no, we had a tough season, and I left halfway through the season then.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, I mean it is, but then one door closes, another opens, and that opens comes to Malaysia straight away. So the timing kind of worked out. It was perfect. So yeah, after
oh no, go ahead. Yeah, I was going to say, okay, so yeah, after Malta, now you're in Malaysia.
Yeah, so after Malta, I'd been following a team in Malaysia on Twitter, and spoken a few times to the manager. Firstly, about bringing teams to Malaysia on a tour, because it's something I've done in the past. Taking teams abroad to play tournaments and stuff. So I was thinking Malaysia would be a nice experience for a European team to go and play. But then when I left Malta, the guy asked me if I would come and be the head coach. So yeah, we started discussions, and pretty much straight away I decided, yeah, I'm going to go and give it a shot. So yeah, Malaysia happened virtually straight away from leaving my job in Malta. So yeah, the annoying thing is I came, we did pre-season, we had a really good squad. We were flying in pre-season, and then COVID hit and the season got cancelled. So yeah, it's a real shame how it happened, but you know, I had the experience. I had the 6 weeks pre-season, but yeah, I just wish we could have seen that through again, and you know, had the opportunity to play in that league. Because I thought there were 3 teams. There was Selangor, there was Pahang Rangers, and us that were probably seen as the 3 favourites. There were other good teams as well, but I think those are the teams that were most serious and had the most money. And yeah, again, that was a step up from Malta, because I was now working with a full professional team.
Oh,
I had a full professional backroom staff. I had 25 professional players, which in my opinion is too many. And I was trying to make changes so the next year we only had a squad of 16, because to manage 25 players in one training session, it was tough at times. But you know, the club already signed all the players they wanted. They wanted to have 25. I don't know why, because there was going to be probably a group of 8-9 players that didn't get any minutes on the pitch all that season. So it was going to be difficult to manage. But you know, it's better to have more than less, right? So yeah, but again, it was a nice step up. It was really good to do the pre-season with a professional team, and yeah, I was really looking forward to the season. It was going to be something else, a really good experience, because in Malaysia it's popular. The league was in its 2nd season of professionalism, and it was live on TV. In the big games, they sold out stadiums with 5,000 fans. So you know, I didn't get to experience that because of COVID. So yeah, that's taken us up to where we are now. I've spent the last year up to December. We were still kind of offline and preparing for the next season.
Yeah.
Training online, and preparing for the next season. But then in December, my contract ended, and this season's quite strange in Malaysia that they're now running a season for just 2.5 months just to get it done, to run a season. But because of the restrictions, they're not running a full season, so it's really short. So my club, I don't think they entered a team this season, the club that I was at. So yeah, my contract expired. They said they weren't going to renew it because they weren't putting a team in, which is understandable, disappointing, but understandable. And yeah, the season that they're starting pre-season now. So I went to a tournament last weekend. And yeah, some teams are starting pre-season, and it should start in June. But yeah, it's a short season, and there's probably, I think there's only 1 or 2 teams that are taking it seriously with professional coaches.
Oh, wow. Huh. So just to put it into context, because I don't have any experience with the Malaysian market. So what drives futsal? Why is futsal so big in Malaysia?
There's so many centres. There's so many venues where you can go and play futsal casually with your friends. It's huge. Everyone plays it. Everyone's heard of it. And a lot of people have followed it on social media and on the TV. So, but yeah, I think the fact that so many people play it, because there's so much access to futsal courts, that you know, it's naturally grown. And I think that's what we need to do in developing countries as well. People need to play it.
Yes.
The more people play it, the more people are going to have interest in the top level of the game. And I still see in England, we struggle to get the numbers playing, because there's just not that many venues to go and have a casual kickabout of futsal. It's quite a task to organise a game, and it's quite expensive. So So yeah, in Malaysia it's so big because of just the number of people playing, I think, and obviously the opportunities that the pro side of it give to young local people. It's quite popular.
Okay, interesting. So I guess a follow-up question would be, so are they funded by the government, or is it like corporations, or is it just the clubs? Who's primarily funding it?
So if I talk about my club, it was part of Malaysia split into states.
Okay.
And even in the football, the League of Super, which is the top league, it's state teams that compete. Okay. So not towns, it's whole states. It's changing now so that teams are going more into a club setup. But yeah, up to now it's been states. So my club was an association rather than a club.
Okay.
And yeah, it was a government department. It was funded by the government. They set the budget for the football and the futsal. Yeah, they get sponsors, but being the government organisation, they can quite easily get sponsors where needed. So yeah, it was mostly funded by the government, certainly in the case of my club. There's a club on the other side of Malaysia called Bahang, and they're funded by, that's a private club, it's not a state, and it's funded by the royal family. Okay. There's people there's the royals that are involved, and they put money in, they've got businesses and they sponsor it, and obviously they've got connections to get the sponsorships. So yeah, each club's different. Some are private sponsors, private backers, some are run by associations. Yeah, there's quite a lot of different clubs, but I know a few struggle, and I know a few people that are involved in clubs, and it's not big money. I think they pay the players quite a small amount, but enough to keep them motivated and happy to go training. Yeah, there's struggles everywhere there's struggles in Malaysia like there are everywhere. So some clubs have it better, some clubs struggle and just get by. Yeah, it's different. There's a whole range of different funding avenues for the clubs here.
And then how many clubs are we talking about? Because I'm thinking about the Brazil comparison. I mean, it's like they've got tons of football clubs, they've got tons of futsal clubs. How does a country like Malaysia compare?
So last season we had 12 teams in the league.
Okay.
And that was there was a league, there was a university league as well.
Okay.
And there's a lot of social leagues. But yeah, in terms of professional setups, there was a league of 12, and that was about it.
Okay. And then, sorry, now I'm going to jump around a bit. So then now with COVID, so where are things at with Malaysia? So you mentioned that there's a bit of a shorter season, 2+ months. Is that kind of it for now? Or, I mean, are they waiting to see what the numbers do, like with vaccinations, or like what's the sense of where things are at with futsal?
So the situation here with COVID's not so bad. Like, things are happening. It feels fairly normal. We can't really travel freely across states, but there are ways you can get permission if you need to go for work or meetings or things like that. But yeah, the situation seems to be improving. Sports allowed to be played again, and
good.
And yeah, the league should go ahead. There's no set dates for it yet, but I think June, July, August will be the 3 months where it sits. And yeah, actually, because it's a shorter season, I believe there's going to be more teams.
Okay.
And there's also a women's league going ahead this season.
Nice.
And because it's shorter, I think it's more attractive to the smaller teams that don't have to spend as much money on training for 10 months, where they can do it all in 3 months now. So it's more accessible for teams. But yeah, it's the quality is probably not going to be as high as it season. So they're just running it, I think, this year to make sure it runs and to satisfy the people that want to play.
Yeah.
And then hopefully next season, 2022, it's back to normal, hopefully.
Yeah, that's good. Interesting. So, okay, so my next question would be, let's see. Okay, so where are you currently at right now? So I take it you're looking for opportunities then, like wherever there's futsal available, like back in England or around the world?
Yeah, I'm in Malaysia at the moment.
Yeah.
My I mean, I'm staying here because it's the most. I mean, there's no sense to go back to England right now because of COVID. It seems quite bad over there. My friends are updating me regularly. It seems to be very grim, let's say.
Yeah.
I think over the last week or so, people have been getting out and about more, and the weather's getting nicer.
Okay.
So yeah, it doesn't look so bad now. So yeah, I've stayed in Malaysia because it's more relaxed here.
Yeah.
It's cheaper to live, so obviously
Yeah.
I'm out of contract, so it makes more sense to stay here until things settle or until I get a new opportunity. So yeah, at the minute I'm in Kuala Lumpur. The last few months I've been at the beach, so my lockdown's been really quite good, and you know I've taken advantage of this time. Done a bit of studying,
nice.
quite a lot of reading, and yeah, I guess I am looking for a new opportunity. I was hoping my first choice would have been to stay with a club that I had last season, but yeah, when they decided not to put the team in, it was always going to be tough. And being a short season, it was going to be quite difficult for me to stay in Malaysia this year. But yeah, I'm speaking to a few different people and a few different organisations, a few different clubs.
Yeah.
Season in Europe starts again in August, September, so I'm hoping by then at least I'll be back training. But yeah, I'm open to go anywhere in the world. Futsal's taken me to some amazing places.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I would totally agree. So are you looking for a head coach position? Are you looking for, because you mentioned like you've been a head coach, I think a technical director, assistant coach. So what are you specifically looking for?
You know what I said to myself a few years ago, before I turn 40, I want to spend 1 or 2 seasons as an assistant coach to a top coach in a top league. And I was thinking of doing that after Malta. But then obviously I got this opportunity to Malaysia and I couldn't turn it down.
Yeah.
So yeah, now might be the time to find a club that's looking for an assistant. Working with a top coach to get, to further my development, to get more experience. And while I'm still young, it's something I think I can do. I almost got an opportunity to do it with a top coach a few years ago, but at that point I'd already signed to go to Malta. So yeah, I made that agreement. I wasn't gonna let them down, but that would have been an amazing opportunity. Working with one of the top coaches in the world. So yeah, something like that I would love to do.
Nice.
But yeah, I'd go anywhere, to be honest. Someone's joked with me because we'd just been to Libya for a tournament in 2010, I think it was, and just after we left, a few months later, then the war started in Libya. So it was quite an off the beaten track country to visit anyway.
Yeah.
And then the group of people we were working with, it was Mitro Matic actually. He made this joke. He's like, "Oh, hey guys, we've got an opportunity to go to North Korea." And I took him seriously. And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it. I'm up for that."
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just playing around. But no, I think if someone said, "Damon, let's go to North Korea and coach a team there," then okay, maybe I'd have to do a bit of research. But
yeah,
no, I'm open to any place in the world. To be honest, futsal's taken me everywhere. It's brought me most recently to Asia.
Yeah,
it's taken me to Africa for some experiences, and yeah, it's a nice way to explore the world, doing something you really enjoy as well.
Yeah, for sure. No, and that's amazing. And you have a very interesting futsal story, which is amazing. Yeah, because I don't think we've actually, out of all the people think we've interviewed, I think you are actually the most well-traveled. So a lot of people I think we've interviewed, they haven't, I don't think they've continent hopped as much as you have. So that's really awesome. And it's a testament to the sport too. you know, that you can really, like, futsal is very, I mean, football is as well, but you know, there are a lot more opportunities out there for futsal than people actually think. So that's fantastic. Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
Since I started in futsal, I saw the opportunity to travel, and you know, it's something I've always, not many people don't like travel, right? So
yeah,
to get the opportunity to travel doing futsal was, even in our first year, I took the club to Italy, Czech Republic, and Belgium just within the first sort of 8-9 months of being that club.
Wow.
We travelled in the second year. We went to Portugal actually and we played Sporting. Actually, it was after 12 months of forming.
Yeah.
We were playing against Barcelona and Sporting in an international tournament. And safe to say, we were out our depth, very out our depth. We lost 18-1 to Sporting.
Holy cow.
We were just a university team trying to make it in England, and we were playing against currently the third best team in the world with some amazing players, and we lost 18-1, but wow, what an experience that was. You know, you really then, that opened my eyes to what, you know, the top level of futsal and how physical it is and how different it is, and you know, how little we'd been doing it properly in England.
Yes.
The funny thing is, we went back to England and played a local league, and we won 18-1 in the first match back. So
no way.
Maybe we learned something.
Yeah. Perhaps. Okay, so that's actually a good segue. Let's talk about England, because there is actually recently this week, and I'm sure you must have an opinion of it, there was some big news in the futsal world. So the deal is, and I intend to write this down because I'm always going to mess it up. So LNFS and England, they're now partnered, or there's going to be, I'm not exactly sure of the details. I've been busy with my own stuff this week, so I just kind of skimmed the highlights. So what's your opinion on it? I mean, my take is it's a very good thing for England and futsal, considering how the FA made all those cuts to futsal. There's clearly, the FA is not, I mean, I know they have a strategy, but clearly based on COVID and everything that I've heard, they're not really committed to it long term. They're really going to go back to focusing on football, not futsal. So for me, I think this is in for England, and for the people that I've talked to, this is a great move for them.
Yeah, so the LNFS is, well, we know it is the biggest league in the world, the best league in the world. That's not the league anymore. The league is now run by the Spanish Federation, and the LNFS is now, I guess you could call it like a clubs association.
Okay.
So they help the clubs, and they own the media rights actually. So they're still involved in promoting the game and representing the clubs, but the league is actually run by the Spanish Federation. But still, the LNFS is a world-class organization with bags of experience and expertise in there. So yeah, they've now partnered with. Okay, so in England it's a bit complicated as well.
Yes.
We have, ever since I was involved since 2008, the National Futsal League has organised the National Futsal League, and until 2 years ago, that was the case. So then the National Futsal League got its funding removed and replaced by the FA National Futsal Series. So the FA took the running of the league in-house, and to try and improve the standard. And I think it worked. COVID put a bit of a dampener on it, but from what I gather, people have enjoyed the new format. So that pushed the National Futsal League down to the third tier. Although they still there was a lot of politics and there was a few legal battles as to whether they could do that. But yeah, the FA put their league on top, which I think is understandable. The National Futsal League went into the third tier, but they retained some of the clubs. So some of the clubs opted to stay in the third tier. So the quality was probably more level.
Okay.
But actually it was a lower tier in terms of the qualifiers for the Champions League came from the FA's league. The quality of the teams was probably quite similar, but I think it did dilute the top league as a whole. But hopefully things will will eventually get back to where they were. And then obviously the FA's lost their funding. So there is still a bit of a power struggle in England at the minute.
Okay.
And yeah, so this announcement it's interesting. I'm waiting to see what really comes of it, but it's giving England some expertise. It's giving us, it's giving the game in England a link to Spain, which obviously is one of the best countries in the world for futsal. So it can only be a good thing, and it certainly raised the profile. Whether now this league continues to try and strive to be the top league, or whether it's happy to be a second, third tier, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, because obviously both leagues now are advertising for teams for next season. So yeah, it's still a bit of a conflict, but yeah, I think it's going to be a good thing overall, and hopefully it can improve the standard and increase the links to Spain, and yeah, certainly raise the profile. I'm sure it will do that. But yeah, I just hope they can resolve this issue of which league's on top and which league's the strongest. Last time they had teams playing in both, so
okay,
like they had an A team and a B team in both leagues. So yeah, there's still a few things to iron out, I think, in England. But yeah, it can only be a good thing that we're getting more publicity and more expertise coming into the country. So
yeah, well, and I was going to ask you sort of kind of a follow-up question to that. How do you think it's going to impact grassroots? Because that's always one of the things, right? Is that we always hear that futsal is a tool for the development of football, right? So do you think by now having and I'm looking down because I was going to mess it up, the LNFS there as a league, do you think it'll encourage more kids and more parents to sort of play futsal and be aware of it and grow the sport more?
I hope so. I hope it can. I think that comes down to the clubs. I think the clubs need to really get into their communities and get more people playing. I don't think the brand LNFS really will hit. I don't think it'll reach English kids. That not many will know what it is. It's not like it's La Liga. If it was La Liga, then yeah, it might turn some heads. So if it was an FC Barcelona, that might turn some heads and get kids interested. But no, I think it's up to the clubs to use it as a selling point. Hey guys, we've got this link with Spain. We're playing in this league, so it can open up opportunities. Yeah, I think it's up to the clubs. I don't think that's changed. I don't think. I think the clubs will carry on growing and doing good things that they're doing. There's a lot of good clubs in the UK that do work in the grassroots. So no, I don't think this announcement on its own will increase the number of people playing. I think that's up to the clubs, but they can use it as a bit of a leverage. And yeah, it's definitely a good thing. It's definitely a good thing, and more professionalism to the game. And yeah, hopefully it will help unite the game in England as well, which is a bit broken at the minute.
Yeah, I would agree. And so do you think it's going to have, do you think it's going to have an impact on coaches' education? Because, I mean, I have to think that, will there be do you think it'll help? Because now you've kind of got, I mean, yes, it's a Spanish association, but I mean, clearly you've been there. So I'm assuming you've seen both sides, right? You know how the Spanish train, their methodologies, the English way. So do you think it'll kind of encourage more of a Spanish feel to it? Or do you think that, just people will train just the English way, but you're just part of a Spanish system per se, or a system?
Yeah, I hope so. The NFS don't actually deliver coaching education, but they can open up links to, maybe for English coaches to go abroad and get that experience. Although with Brexit, things like that are going to be a lot more difficult now.
Right.
What I did in 2013, I couldn't do now, because I just went there, off my own back, just to go and live and work and get a part-time job. But now with Brexit, we can only stay there for 3 months, and I don't think we can work, unless we get a working visa. So, but yeah, hopefully this link will, maybe it can bring some Spanish coaches over, and they can deliver some some stuff to the English coaches. Certainly that's something that can happen. That could happen anyway. But hopefully with this, it opens up some more doors, and certainly something I've always wanted to do. And I did it when I was working in England. I brought over Mark Carmona. He was, at the time, he'd just left FC Barcelona. He's one of the most successful coaches in the world. I took him to England to do a weekend workshop, and stuff like that. It's something I think we need to do. I think we need to tap into Spain, and I'm noticing a lot more English coaches doing that now, and maybe learning Spanish as well, so they can get access to Spanish courses, but also Spanish courses I'm seeing a lot now in English.
Yes.
The VAMAR group, they launched their sort of online seminar, and they have translations to English now. They did last year.
Wow.
The Pro 5 is all in English, so there is now more access to the Spanish methodology in English. Whether that's through the LNFS link or not, it's there. It's growing. So I think there's more opportunities now, regardless of that link. But
yeah, that's good. That's cool. So okay, so now let's go a little broader. So you actually have a very unique perspective because you've been to Spain, Malta, Malaysia. So UK. Now we're in COVID times. So where do you think futsal's going to go in the future? Because I can certainly tell you that in Canada and where I am right now, because I was part of the Brazilian Futsal Club and we shut down because of COVID. It's been a year and I can't even rent a indoor gym if I wanted to, right? So do you see us, because this is the other thing, before COVID hit, futsal, I feel, certainly in Canada and where we were, was like on the up. And now I think, unfortunately, because of COVID, and I mean, I know this goes for youth sports in general, where we've all kind of taken a beating, but I do think that I would be curious to know what you think. Do you think futsal will regain what it's lost? Or do you think it's going to be a bit of an uphill battle?
Yeah, you're right. It was growing quite nicely before COVID. There's a lot of positivity in England. France was growing quite rapidly. I know you've spoken to Awais and Sammy. And Malaysia was taking off. Malta was getting a bit more momentum because my last season there was their low point. I think that was picking up again. The UEFA tournaments have changed and they were growing, and youth futsal, women's futsal, all was I think on the verge of just becoming that a little bit more mainstream.
Yes.
Where do I think it's going to go next? I think, and I'm ever the optimist, so maybe that's clouding my view a bit, but I think the desire to play and the desire to get involved is going to be more than it was before. I think everyone that was doing it before, they're going to come back. I don't think we'll lose many people. Grassroots, professional, whatever. I don't think we'll lose many people. Obviously, we've lost the England national team, but that seems to be the only casualty, really. I've not seen many other teams folding or leagues getting worse. I've only seen them improving, I think, and putting more. Like the Spanish Federation put in a lot of money. They announced a couple of months ago. It's probably a year ago now. So I think when things open up again, the demand is going to be bigger. And I hope new leagues start up. I hope new countries get involved in futsal, and I think it will. I think the future for futsal's going to pick up where it left off.
Yeah.
And then some. But I'm the optimist, so it might not happen, but no, I really do hope it's not going to be long term affected by COVID.
Yeah, I hope to. I would agree. I hope that it's not negatively affected, or if it is, it's just a little blip, and then things go back to where it was, because it was definitely growing for sure. So yeah.
And that said, someone said to me, don't cry about the people that don't want to play futsal. There's always enough people to play. Again, it was actually Micho Matic, the Finland coach.
Yeah,
we've worked together quite a lot, and he's been quite a good mentor for me. And just, asking him for advice sometime, and how can we get people to play? And he's like, Damon, don't cry about the people that don't want to play futsal. You live in England. got millions of people that you can access. I think what he means by that is, let's focus on the people that do want to play. The quality might drop, but long term, I think it's the right way to go. And that's talking about the football players, because in England everyone plays football, and it's very rare you get a player that's coming to your futsal club that doesn't play football as well.
Okay.
I think that's the way we need to go. And I know York with Junior Roberti, I know they're having a problem now where the kids that go there, they only play futsal. And they've got to prioritize futsal. They train 3 times a week or 2 times a week. And it's not an excuse to say, oh, I can't come training because I've got football training. No, you're choosing futsal, so this is your sport. And I think that's what we need to do in developing countries. Be a bit more strong, be a bit more, let's not be the inferior brother to football anymore. Let's take a stand, and if you want to play this sport, then you play this sport. You do other stuff in the free time, but you prioritize futsal.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I would definitely say that is not the case in North America. I think it's getting there. If I was to go back in time with the Brazilian Futsal Club, I 100% would have marketed it differently. I would have said, forget, we're not a development tool for soccer. We're 100% our own sport. We have our own tournaments. We have our own games. You train, yes, we understand that you have soccer practices, but no, it's not, you need to pick the sport of futsal over soccer. So I would have, and that's actually, I would say what Alvaro and our mantra is now. It's make it a sport, because someone actually pointed out that, what is it? Rugby. There's a secondary sport that's kind of like rugby, but it's not rugby. And so why does futsal get treated like a secondary sport, or like, as you said, the little brother to football? It shouldn't. It is its own sport. So 100%. All right, so I think we have 6 minutes left, or 8 minutes left. Okay, so let's see, what else do I have on my list? Let me check. So what? Let me see, what else do I say? So we talked about the future of futsal. So in a perfect world, what would you love to see? In a perfect world, what would you love to see around the world with futsal?
Oh, good question. Professionalism. Professionalism in all the countries. So we've got Spain, we've got Brazil, they're pro. Not even the salaries aren't, it's never gonna be like football.
Yes.
And I want millions and millions of pounds in the sport, but I want the top levels to treat it like it's a professional sport, and for the people to commit to it. But futsal needs to commit to the players before the players will commit to futsal. That's, if you're a club, you need to put on 4 or 5 training sessions a week. The leagues need to put on weekly games. The leagues need to give it good coverage, make the players feel like they're part of something. Too long it's been, the players won't leave football, and we shouldn't aim to be taking players away from football, but we need to be attractive. The sport needs to be something where you can go and you can do it 3 or 4 times a week with a match on a weekend. And if you've got that, then people will play it and it will grow. So I want to see that. I think I want to see more access to venues. I think that's, if there's more access to venues, then I think we can do what I've just mentioned a lot easier. Certainly in England, we struggle with, I won't say number of venues, but the quality of venues. You can always find somewhere to train, but to find high quality, reasonably priced venues is very difficult. And I've seen in Malaysia, it's not impossible to make a sport. It was actually watched more than the Premier League in Malaysia last season.
Wow.
Not last season, before. So the viewing figures were, I think, second to the Premier League, so not higher than the Premier League. It was the second most viewed sport in Malaysia, and that was just because the organisation had a desire to make it a good sport. And once they were saying, right, we're going to do this, then the clubs followed and made it more professional, and they made sure the players had that treatment as a professional, and they had access to training 6-7 times a week. So yeah, it's not impossible to do. It needs the right people. It needs the desire from the federations and the associations. But yeah, I think that's what I want to see for futsal, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fantastic answer. And I think you've touched on so many good points. The federations have to get behind it. And I think the other thing I would add is futsal needs to be led by futsal players and futsal professionals.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been victim to a few decisions that have been made by football people. Not just me, but, other coaches and other clubs. And in England, the decision was made by football people. And that's what we get. Even in Malaysia, I was working for a football club, and the decision to end the futsal was made by football people. Obviously, my boss, the futsal manager, the futsal president, he didn't want the futsal to end, but the people above him, they decided, no, we're not going to carry on with futsal.
Yeah.
So yeah, we need futsal people in those positions, and I guess that'll take time until we've got a youth. All the players that are playing futsal now, one day they get jobs, and maybe they work in these positions where they can make decisions. Then yeah, I think it's going to take time to get to that, but I think eventually it will come.
For sure. And so I'm going to put you on the hot seat here. Do you think FIFA does enough for futsal?
I think UEFA does a lot.
Okay.
For futsal.
Yeah.
I don't know much. I know a lot of people criticize FIFA.
Yeah.
For me, I see FIFA as running the World Cup, and it seems to be really good. I think Colombia was a bit of a not disaster, but I think it wasn't as good as they hoped. I don't think there was as many fans or as much interest in it in Colombia. But was that the last World Cup? Or
I can't remember.
I can't remember where the last one was. 2018, wasn't it? Because we've got I've got my dates all muddled up here.
Because Lithuania is in 2022. No, Lithuania is supposed to be this year, but it's because of COVID. It's all messed up, right? So yeah.
So no, from what I've seen, the World Cups are well run by FIFA. Could they do more? Yeah, of course they could run a World Cup. They could, they could do more.
Yeah.
But at least they're doing the men's World Cup for now, and that's not the least I expect of FIFA. But they're doing that, and I think that's they should do more. So to answer the question, no, they're not doing enough.
Yeah.
But they're not doing as bad as I think a lot of people criticize them for. Do we need a lot of people want to leave and go to a different federation or look after futsal ourselves, and maybe we just need someone in FIFA that is futsal, like we've talked about a minute ago. If there's someone in there that really has a passion for futsal, then I think FIFA will, like we have in UEFA, we have a few good people in UEFA that really love futsal, and it's thriving there.
Yeah, I totally would agree. I think we have like 2 more minutes, but I'm not sure. So I'll and this is always a controversial question, not a controversial question, but this actually gets asked a lot. So if futsal was an Olympic sport, do you think it would make a difference?
I guess yes, because you can access funding for an Olympic sport through the governments.
Okay.
But I don't think it should be the fight that we're fighting. I think we need the World Cup to be bigger and better, and Women's World Cup and Youth World Cup, if that's something in the pipeline. But it would be nice if I was in the Olympics. Yeah, it'd be a nice bonus, and it'd get more coverage and more people would know about it. But handball's still not thriving in the UK.
Yeah, correct.
So it's not a magic answer. It's not just going to suddenly make futsal worldwide. It's not going to make it a mainstream sport just because it's in the Olympics.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, that's cool. And I don't know. We've got a producer, and he's like, I don't know. When was the last time he said? I'm wondering how many. Oh, 7 minutes. That was a while ago. Okay, so I think I'm going to squeeze in one more question. And my one more question is AMF versus FIFA. Any thoughts on it? because there's different rules, you know, two different organizations. Do you think that contributes to some of futsal's issues?
I think it does, but I think AMF also fills a bit of a gap.
Okay.
So, you know, I played in a couple of AMF tournaments, and yeah, it fills a gap for people that you know maybe can't play in FIFA.
In FIFA, okay,
FIFA
cool.
tournaments. So, you know, and if there's people still playing it, then yeah, there's no reason why it can't be there. But from my experience, AMF isn't as professional as FIFA, and I'm not talking about FIFA. I'm talking about the game like the Spanish league, the Brazilian league. It's, you know, it looks more professional, and I've seen AMF as an organization. It doesn't look as well polished, so to speak, and no, it's there for the people that want to access it, I guess, and you know, it's people are free to make a choice. So I would stick in FIFA. It's my sport. It's the direction I want to go. Would I go to AMF? I don't know. I don't know. Probably not.
Okay, fair enough. And on that note, I think we're done. I got time in the chat. So I think that's it. So thank you so much, Damon, for being on here today. This was amazing. And thank you very much, because I know it's like 11 o'clock in the morning your time. Thank you very much. And how can people reach you if they have any futsal opportunities?
What's bigger over there, Twitter or?
Twitter, LinkedIn.
I think if you search Damon Shaw on Twitter and Instagram, you're gonna find me. It's Damon _Shaw. Damon _Shaw.
Nice.
On Twitter and Instagram. So, and I've got a website as well, damonshaw.co.uk.
Oh, cool. All right, nice. Okay, so
training sessions on and stuff. And
oh, sweet. Nice. All right. Well, I have to do a quick sign off, and then I think we're done. So this show can be heard on Spanglish World Radio Network. Please check out spanglishworld.ca for all the news and programming. Spanglish Sports World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Thank you again, Damon. This was amazing.
Have a good